says, what's the song? It's Yesu Mode by Lumba. As you know, all opinionators seems to love Lumba. It's one thing you have in common. We may disagree on the topic, but as for our Lumba, we always agree. Promise in Pantine. Good evening, my brother. Auntie Stella Appington from North Jowolo, I see you. Thank you for tuning in. Richard Collins, I see you. BCA, listening live from North Tong, I think, or South Tong, please correct me. Ebo Aqua Blue Rose is waiting and tuned in. Mauli Hato, I see you. Eugenia Sintimadi, you are there. The members of the Royal Legacy platform, I see you. Rama PA for Anana Afra Kumaina Kwamu, I see you. Frank Ewuku, formerly of Bank of Ghana, I see you. Richard Anani Simon, I see you. Roberta from Jollyphonics, I see you. Auntie Misunu Amu, I see you. And that's the daughter of the great Ephraim Amu. Samuel Mate is listening from the little Republic of Odumasa all the way. Can you imagine? We have a big roll call list today. And I know somewhere in the name is Lawyer Martin Pebu. Kwame Adon, the one and only director, is there. Kenneth Aite says, today I'm representing from Lunga. And I know by now the little princess is dancing. Can you imagine she dances to the sick tune? And Chenoni Payment. Anna P. Sasu is listening from Koforia. Anna P, thank you. We have a good show today. Good evening, Emmanuel from Achimota. Nana Ekuya Kwanche Sampa in DC. Sebastian Teshi Camp 2. The day in Ajungano, good evening. Nana Joy Nagubu, good evening, I see you. Ah, my brother Kojo Kodia. Kojo Kodia, I see you. Esther Odate Wellington, good evening, and thanks for joining. Playtime is over. Infum Frederick, manager of DVLA Sonia. Thank you for tuning in. one and only Sam Boche, listening to us all the way from UK. Jiri, good evening. But we start the way we start. Folks, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And you know, I'll say that again. Folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting will always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. My name is Nana Ansah Kwao, the fourth chief of the Little Republic of Akwemu Edumasa. Welcome to the beautiful ritual I call That's My Opinion. Every Monday we meet up to perform this ritual, and you can tell by the roll call list that, we have a little cult brewing there. Rain or shine, once the good Lord favors us, we meet up here, and Mondays are simply not the same without a dose of opinion. So let's make it a point to join at 7 p.m. every Monday. And if you don't believe me, you can ask Malik and Adenta, or you can even ask Odute, me, Odute. Today, our topic is still finding X in COVID. Finding X, as in the letter X for xylophone, in the midst of COVID-19. Now, I haven't told you a story in a while, so you know what? Let's hear one. Folks, Prince, a Ghana man, Christine, a Kuapem woman. Now, they live at Kaswa with their son and daughter, Kirk and Kirsty. Prince works at the airport, his wife at Atapraka. Kirsty, their daughter, goes to Martin de Porres. Kirk, her brother, Saint Benedict, all in Dansuman. Parents are on a reasonable income. They are not particularly rich, neither are they poor. They have one car which they share amongst the family. The first language at home is English. So the kids don't speak Ga or Equiapim, even though they understand it if you speak it. The family leaves home at 5:45 a.m. in the morning. The children will have breakfast in the car while going to school. School will start at 8 a.m. They will study math and English and science and more math till regular school is over. Then there's a short break before extra classes begin at 3 p.m. to 4:30. Now, at extra classes, get what they will study. Yes, give it a guess. The same math, the same English, no science that they've done since morning. And it's not free. Apart from your school fees and all other fees, you'd have to pay for extra classes. Folks, some are even compulsory. Yes, you don't have a choice in the matter. You're doing extra classes. And therefore, is it not surprising that the child turns up for compulsory paid for extra classes only to see the same teacher to teach them the same subject that they've been doing since morning? Oh yes. And you think that's all? No. Over the weekend, again, the same teacher turns up in the house because he's also the house teacher to teach them the same subjects again. The one who say, bye. Yes. So the child has no regular school. The child has now got regular school homework, extra classes homework, and then the house teacher too would leave some homework. So you see, children of today are becoming very highly schooled with no education. Very highly schooled with no education. Children spend a good percentage of their lifetime finding X. A good percentage of their lifetime, school lifetime, finding X. Now, where in these kids' lives are you going to fit in some education? Even simple ones. Things like just tidy up your room, clean up after yourselves, common sense, Ansah, love and respect for nature. The very ingredients that nations are built upon. There's no time for that. Because they have to go and find X. X from school homework, X from extra classes homework, X from the house teacher's homework. And yet, folks, Education, folks, is what is left after you leave school. Let me repeat it. Education is what is left after you leave school. When you have forgotten the Pythagoras theories, significant figures and decimal points. When you have eventually found X and left school, what you have is education. Folks, the ability to learn. But with us, from the very young age, the heat is on. And it's on all sides. Parents, wards, the schools themselves. We have all positioned our minds that if you find X, then you are educated. And so the pressure to pass exams are mind-boggling. And hence this growing culture of the art of schooling. Oh yes, a growing culture of the art of schooling. Or you can call it the game of schooling. That is what is in vogue now. All emphasis are on numeracy and literacy, because the goal is that when you pass your exam, you will be a better person in society. So for the majority, it is the art of schooling. Chew, pour, pass, and by all means forget it. Don't apply it. Now, because of this obsession, things which cannot be calculated and measured to be examined for a pass, to us, have no value. Let me say that again. Because of this obsession to pass examinations, things which cannot be calculated and measured to be examined for a pass, to us have no value. Hence, the serious lack of creativity, imagination, idealism, honesty, civility, and the simple art of being personable. Just say thank you for holding the door. Just simple being personable. Folks, I have always said that there is too much schooling and not enough education. Now we can't continue down this path. Children like Kirk and Kirsty will grow up being very American, or should I say very westernized. They will not want to associate with things that are indigenously Ghanaian. Their thinking, their language, dressing, demeanor will be Western, and they will probably pass their exams too, pass very well. Future leaders of our nation. Their reference point will be in the white man's land. Anything black and African is of darkness, negativity, substandards, backdoor, forget it. All the way up to university, and the story is the same. Now, because of our system, probably not more than 14% of us who start school will end up in university. A greater part of this number, folks, just want a certificate rather than to broaden their minds, their horizon, wisdom, and intellect. Just the paper. Thank you very much. Now I ask, folks, what kind of education are we impacting on these students before we unleash them onto the market and the world of work? If we put someone through this kind of system, what product do you expect at the end? And folks, tell me how you plant millets and turn up 4 or 5 months later and expect to see mangoes hanging on them. How do you do that? With this sort of education, folks, passion, commitment, devotion, dedication, love, wisdom, courtesy, hard work, equity, justice, fair play, and value for time. There are no exams for these things, so we don't place that much value on these things. And we are churning out scholars without these qualities. We're churning out scholars, first degree holders, double A, 7A holders, who can keep time, who can dress, who can win, who can even know how to eat, to use the cutlery, but they are 7A students. Let us get out of this learn, pass, forget mentality, because the results are all around us. Look at the filth that we live in, practically being choked with rubbish. Very little rain and there's havoc. But still, we drop litter. Even after the rain has come and washed everything and just we've lived through the experience, we still drop litter. We are unable to break away from it. The millions of us who go out in the open to do our business, no sense of decency. Folks, no sense of decency. It's not because they have not been to school. We need education, folks. Have you ever come to a crossroads and no one is prepared to give the other just 3 seconds to pass? So we all block the road and wait for hours for some boys to come with branches and tell us what to do. All that was needed was 3 seconds for one car to go first. Now hours and we are all stuck there honking, hooting, stressed out. Folks, don't tell me that all the drivers have not been to school. Because in there in the traffic are V8, Mercedes, your doctors and engineers. We are all there blocked in the traffic. Education, education, education. People who are educated are very cautious of the environment, very selfless, always ready to impact knowledge, educate people. They are honest. Folks, they will go out of their way to help the needy. They are very fair and firm and will most of the time leave a very good impression wherever they go. People who have just been schooled can be the direct opposite. The direct opposite. Me. And they are 11 minutes. And we have too many of them. Now when these characters find themselves in places of power, it can spell doom, but I won't go there. I think we are due, folks, for an educational revolution. We are due for an educational revolution. And let me quote Dr. Carter Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro. The Miseducation of the Negro. This is a book he wrote in 1933. And the thesis of the book is that blacks of his day in America then were culturally indoctrinated rather than taught. And in American schools, this conditioning, he claimed, causes blacks to become dependent, to seek out inferior places in the greater society of which they were a part. And he challenges the readers of this book to become self-taught, dare to read outside of the norm, chase knowledge. He says, regardless of what you are taught, basically educate yourself rather than just go and sit in class and, hook, line, sinker, hook, line, sinker. There's a quote in the book where I think is very powerful. It says, when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You don't have to tell him not to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You don't need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. And in fact, if there is no back door, he will cut one out for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary. When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You do not have to tell him not to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. And in fact, if there is no back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary. Folks, now because of COVID, schools are shut, extra classes are no more, the house teacher can't come home. So we have now moved to virtual teaching. We have to buy data so the schools will come to our homes in these COVID times, so we can continue to find X. A very good, innovative idea. It's a shame that not all of us can log on because not all of us have computers or network. However, hear me well, folks, please. Is it possible to use this period to teach our children life skills? Can we have the schools, through this network, ask the children to lay their bed for marks, do the dishes for marks, help in the kitchen and write about what you did, wash your socks and underwear, clean the living room and write about it, sew the table cover, a chair back, mend a button? Can we ask our children to come down to planet Earth, where people work with their hands? Maybe even speak only your mother tongue for the day, and your parents will report on how well you did. Yeah, if you're Ghana, the whole day today, everything's going to be in Ghana. Try and speak as much Ghana as you can today, and your parents will report how well you did. Just while we are waiting for COVID to end, can we stop being so paranoid of not being able to speak English like the Queen and obsessed in finding X, but rather focus on education instead of just schooling, which will lead us to this, to create a back door when it doesn't even exist? Folks, had it not been COVID, we could even extend it to let them go out and clean the surroundings. Maybe plant something, even if it's one corn in a pot. Plant something. Learn to dance. Practice how to wear a cloth if it's your culture. Can we remind them that they are blacks and should be proud Africans? If we continue this way, we are, yes, they will be very highly schooled, but with very little education. And one day, folks, they will come to Kosichu for a job with all their high degrees, and Kosi won't ask them to find X. He won't even find out if they ever found X, but he will look at how they found X, as in, are you dressed well? Your appearance, their grooming, their timekeeping, their confidence, the way they present themselves. And when they open their mouth to say good morning, by the time they finish saying morning, because he would have decided whether to give them a chance or not, and all in 7 seconds. Meanwhile, he could have been the first one who found X in his school, but can't get employed. Why? Because he's just schooled with no education. And after school, what is left is education. So if after school you are left with improper grooming, can't speak, can't debate, can't do anything, then what were you left with after school? That the schools are zooming in and online this and online that, still finding X. Beds are not laid, the decks are dusty, and mom is in the kitchen or dad is in the kitchen and you're there watching cartoons looking for X. Can we use this period to start that revolution? Folks, at GDA, right, standpoint, you needed a graphic designer. I think I've said this before. Don't remember the number. I think about 23 people applied to become graphic designers. Folks, 23. One turned up early. Jesus Christ. One turned up early. The rest that came, some thought the standpoint had been discontinued. Others didn't even know what the standpoint was or what it stood for. Teachers say in this day of Google, you couldn't on your way in your trotro or Uber coming, just at least Google what these people do as I'm going to find a job there. But I'm sure if I were to ask them for their graphic designing certificate, I'm sure they all passed. No education, no common sense. If you say, can I just Google to find out what it is they do and what I can contribute to whatever it is they do? Even if I will lie, at least I know how it is to lie about. We have to do something, particularly with the younger ones. So I suggest that parents, schools, and the education fraternity should look at this and really consider it. Really consider it. Now, I'm not saying that we should not find X. No. Finding X is learning to learn. But how are we finding the X? Is what what I'm talking about today. Now, I don't know what your opinion is, but certainly I want to hear it. Certainly I want to hear your opinion. If parents and school and the education fraternity looking at the pressures of the modern world today, can we consciously make sure that we indoctrinate, if I can use that word, some life skills into these new ones? Clean the garden, lay your bed, start washing your underwear and your socks, and something. It cannot be finding eggs and speaking like the queen from day zero. I mean, most of you know how I complained about my daughter doing everything to make sure that this girl, will speak Tree. Can you imagine? She speaks English with an accent. Uncle Airport, 3 years old. Daddy made a pancake. Hello? Nobody made a pancake. Bye-bye, Daddy. The girl, not even 3, hasn't been to the airport. That is the pressure. That is the reality we are facing. Airport. And I did everything to make sure that this girl would speak Tree. Mixing Tree and English with an accent, not even normal. Bye-bye. No. Bye-bye, Daddy. Are you suffering? So please, the revolution should start. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Nana.
Nana, let me hear you.
Well, I'm very grateful for the topic this evening. Now we go to school and the school doesn't go through us, but we rather go through the school.
Wow.
In our leadership today, we are still finding eggs. There are a lot of things that all we need is common sense, just wisdom to do it, yet we are still finding eggs with it. With all the qualifications we've got in our leadership today, in our common society, among us, with all the degrees, the doctorates and all that, yet it can't help us think, just get wisdom to know that this thing, you don't need all these certificates to know that we have to do it. And that is our problem as people in this country. We are still finding eggs. Well, I hope there's a change of mind and heart.
Thank you very much. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me? Try and call back, the line drop. Hello? 0302216541. Our educational system has failed us in typically life skills training. All are gone. Today's training college students are paying for their rooms to be swept and clean. Professor Kazu Seriam. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, sir. My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Winneba.
Let me hear you, my brother.
Thank you very much for the topic this evening. I'm very happy that I heard you. Just last week, I read a document that is called Bantu Education.
Okay.
And it tells us how the whites in South Africa were able to control the blacks through education. And as an early childhood educator, I believe very well that we should take a critical look at our educational system and make sure that we focus on character building. And by so doing, we can all develop our country and our continent. When I hear people shout, Black Lives Matter, I always want to hear that they say that black minds are needed. And we need our minds and we need our hearts to work. And I'm sure that with a change in educational system, we can do that. Thank you very much for this.
I thank you too. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hi, good evening. This is Charles. I'm calling all the way from Leicester in the United Kingdom.
Hello,
hi, Nana. I'm very happy you're addressing this problem tonight because the problem is not about people not wanting to go to school. Well, it's important that we go to school here in the United Kingdom, in England where I live. We value education a lot, you understand. But the students that we are churning out, in Ghana, is it because they want to go to school, or is it because they want to transform society? And I think until we change that mentality, in the next decade or 2 or 3, everybody would have acquired a degree in Ghana, and then, excuse me, everybody probably would have become a thief, because nobody is thinking about. I mean, the people, they are not thinking about how to constructively develop the country, and it's very sad when you hear politicians, for instance, come on radio, and then they defend something that is simply illogical, simply absurd, and I find it problematic how people cannot simply, work according to how classroom has transformed them, and then bring that to change society.
Thank you very much. Now the question is, are there even still, do they still even have life skills in Ghana education system? Again, in fact, education has really failed us in this country. What happens after SHS? Douglas from DC. Douglas, it's been a while. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana.
Hi.
It's Ansah Kwao from North Asia.
Let me hear you, my brother.
I think it's a very big, it's a very important topic discussing this evening, and I'm so happy you brought it up. Because for me, it is a matter of our culture, tradition that we have, we are sort of ignoring, and gradually we are leaving our culture and tradition behind. Because we could still learn the mathematics, the science, and blend in our culture. If or say to you, if the can speak eloquently in English and still flow in a can and have respect for culture and tradition, then I think we can do so. I mean, the current generation is so much attached to the Western culture, such that we no longer speak in our local dialect as fluently as we should. What happened to the Dentres, talking about the Obriya boys of yesterday, and the Boapon saying what happened to Asante's bragging all talking about the Opokuwares and all the case before, what happened to the Airways talking about the Kinagokolis and how far they've come. I think the youth of today need to learn. And if we take back our culture and tradition, is the first step of blending in our culture with that of science, and that is how we'll be able to solve the problems of today with what we've learned. Thank you, Nana.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, because you know what? Robert Rattray, who was an anthropologist, Obonio, many years ago kept telling our forefathers that don't drop your culture, because for your children to have a place at the world table of knowledge, they must come with originality. They can't come speaking English, French, or Portuguese, or dressed in suit, hoping to get a place at the table. No, there are already people there speaking English and wearing suits. You must come in your kente cloth, talking about Ubriya Boa, just as my previous caller said. Hello, who's talking to me?
Yeah, this is Jonathan, Nana.
Jonathan,
just along the lines of the one who has just called you.
Yeah.
And then your words also, you said originality. There is that old adage that you cannot know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from.
Exactly.
This is a fact like the sun is shining in the sky. Until we teach the youth who they are, what an African is, where they come from, it will never happen in a million years. So I want to recommend a book that somebody has written called Africa, the Light of the World. It can be gotten at the Nkrumah Mausoleum. It gives a very foundational knowledge of the beginning of Africa, the greatness of Africa. Without foundation, you can't go anywhere. Africa, the Light of the World. I recommend it very seriously, Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. If you want that, Nana, I can tell them to bring that for you. Thank you very much.
I will be absolutely grateful if you would get me one. Let me be cheeky and ask. I'll be grateful if you get me one. I'm sure also, even though I haven't read it, I recommend that you read it. Anything Africa, and I'm in there. And a young man from Ghana Law School turned up in a law firm I worked, looking for an internship opportunity. When the secretary asked him to bring an application letter, this young man asked the secretary to write one for him. Imagine that. Victor in Ashalibote. I can imagine how shocked you were. 0302-216-541. We have done enough schooling.
Hello.
It's education time. Hello, let me hear you. Who's talking to you, by the way?
My name is Ben Johnson. I'm calling from Abloman, around Amasaman.
Let me hear you.
Yeah, I agree so much with all that you are saying, and I want to talk about some of the things that we can do to change the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think, for one, we should be looking at seriously abolishing the weekend schools, extra classes or whatever we call them, so that at least the children can be at home and learn something from their parents or guardians that they're staying with. And then secondly, I think that we should cultivate the habit of letting the children visit their grannies. I mean, those who are outside our comfort zone. Because when they go there, they will not be getting daddy and mommy to be giving them that preferential treatment. They would know that you wake up early in the morning, you lay your bed, you sweep, you do all those things. And these are the things that they will not learn in the urban areas and in the city. So that when they come back, I mean, bit by bit, we can be getting somewhere.
Thank you very much. I'm happy you've mentioned grandmothers. Today we have labeled all grandmothers witches. However, it is a known fact, or research made, that children who grow up with parents and have attachments to grandmothers seem to be very well balanced and very well formed. Just like, the guy is saying, grandmothers are, even though they will spoil you, but they're quite firm. But today, call grandma or cross for because say, hey, I'm finding call mommy. Nana, thank you very much for this very important topic. I am a teacher and I mean all in for education revolution. This morning I listened to Weston and the team discussion and reopening of schools, and only one question was running through my mind. Are we going to have education in this COVID-19 times the way we have had it all this while without any values? I've been thinking about this all day. We need a change. Good evening. Salom from Dowenya. And that's my son, Solomon. I didn't know you were a teacher. I have a very soft spot. I have a soft spot for teachers. So now I like you a bit more. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana. Yes. Nana to you from the Eastern.
Let me hear you.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I remember my dad made me move to the village just to stay with my granddad for 2 years. So that I will learn from them my culture. Due to time, people don't make their children move to villages where they can learn the custom of where they're coming from. And like other caller said, it's time to make our children better their grandmothers and grandfathers. That's all I can say.
And I'm very glad you called in too, my brother. 0302216541. While the children are home, while we have to now study online, I am just saying that this online studies, can we have like a structure that says, well, every 6:45 you need to wake up, and when you wake up, you start listing on a pen and paper what you did, I laid my bed, blah, 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 and then report to the school and get some marks for it and make it fun so the children just understand that life includes working with your hands. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana.
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is your good old friend, Ansah Kwao.
Let me hear you.
Yes, interesting topic. And I just want to say that, look, we've lost a lot. We've lost our identity. We've not only lost education, we've lost our identity. Now, what would you expect? If somebody is called Robert Smith and has never left the shores of Ghana, what would you expect to come out of Robert Smith? There's nothing Kweku in the name, there's nothing Mensa in the name, and therefore they only would seek to. So I think if we can get back to our original names as well as learning our languages, then I think we'll be on the path to re-educating ourselves. Because if you look at all the cultures where somebody has their original name, you see that there's something about them that remains original, as compared to the rest of us who have adopted foreign names. I always said, the day I named my child a foreign name is when I woke up in the middle of Leicester somewhere, and a white man, without coming to Ghana, woke up and named his child Kwesi Owusu, then I would also go that way. But until then my children, myself, would always have indigenous names. And that's how it's supposed to go.
Originality. Thank you very much. Originality. And I thank you very much for this all important topic. The whole teaching system is sick. Even our teachers who are teaching the children need to be educated because they just went to school and were not educated. Practically, they can't even teach our children practically for education to take place. Typical example is teaching parts of the body in the class, and the teacher forgets that the children in the class have parts of the body to use in practical teaching, but they are rather looking for information in books before they teach. Now schools, children don't sweep as we used to. Laborers are there to work. Good point. Hello, who's talking to me?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, my name is Peter T.
Peter, let me hear you.
Yeah, Peter T, calling from Supura.
Let me hear you.
My brother, I love your topic today too. Yes, you know what? You know, those days, parents were pending on tradition and then culture. And there were this training that children were being taken through. You know, I was even one of those children. A parent would tell you, or your grandma, when you are living with her, we even tell you that if you want to be hardworking, my boy or girl, you must try not to find excuses for a job poorly done. Because you know that those days, parents make sure that they engage their children, take them through the necessary, domestic training, so that when they grow up and they also get the opportunities, they don't depart from it. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, especially about the complaining character, and they always tell them that if you want to do so, your complaining character becomes a weight hanging on your legs, retarding even the work of your progress. So children were made to believe that there are particular traditions that is well connected to parental control and guidance, especially the home that you live. They tell you have to try to concentrate on achieving your set targets and goals. Concentrate your efforts or attention on that which, but today, where are we? Are we doing that? Parents are even becoming the children rather than the parents. Children have taken over because they always, parents themselves also think that maybe they have put the children somewhere, they've gone to high school, who they themselves did not even try to attend those days. So you see that the issue of parental control becomes more or less, rather for the children. So let's take these lessons so serious, so that one day we can tell a story that can easily make our children better children in the future than not the vulnerable ones. That is what I think.
I'll say amen to that. Most modern day grandmoms are young and now chopping life. They have not got the time to train the young ones. I grew up with my lovely but very firm grandma, and I cannot replace the gift for anything. Even though she's no more, I still remember and cherish the things I was taught. You must say thank you the next day when someone gives you something. Hell will break loose if you don't go to the person's house to say thank you. But modern day children don't even want to say thank you. You're left alone thank you. Left alone thanking you the next day. They think it's their right to receive things and not a privilege. These were the things grandmas taught. Elam Kujau Nes in Kolebu. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, it's Hayford.
Hayford, let me hear you.
I'm very, very much interested in the topic you're discussing this evening.
Good.
1100 students, and I live with my mates in the hostel. It will surprise you that you go to the washroom and you go and find rice and all kinds of tin fish in the washroom, which is very disgusting. So it means they didn't get any upbringing from the house that they brought to school. I have a friend, you just sit around in the room, you just come and then flatulate, and then you just tell you that it's boys. When you try to educate him, he'll tell you it's boys, so there's no need for that. So I need this kind of programs need to be done continuously so that our youth of today can gain some knowledge, because there's nothing that has been impacted in them. All they know is how to get a degree, and that's all. So thank you for the program. I'm very interested in it. Thank you very much.
And I say thank you so much for tuning in. Get your friends to also tune in every Monday at 7 p.m. or you can log on to the My Joy Online platform and go to podcast and listen. Or you can go to the Facebook, because those on Facebook, and then you can listen. Hello. Nana, most parents are lost in the solution of the equation to find X. They have ceded their parenting responsibility to teachers, television, and technology gadgets. Parents are to know that they are the foremost teachers of their children. Thus, they have the greater responsibility of nurturing their children to be responsible citizens. Good evening, Anna. Anna, good evening. Well said, Mama. As for me, my children can clean, wash, do the dishes, and even cook rice. One is 9 and one is 6. And make sure to do it. This is from Priscilla, Barclays Bank, in Pesky Hotel. So if you just tuned in, that was what I was talking about, that we are focusing too much on schooling and not educating our children. Basically, we are just so paranoid about literacy and numeracy. Find X, find the equation, speak this, speak that. But folks, the child gets up and can't make a bed. Child doesn't even know that if you see daddy walking with an empty bowl in his hands, you take it and, continue the journey for that. No. Calm down, see your dad washing the car, and you just walk past. I mean, like a dangerous sense of entitlement. Dangerous sense of entitlement. And I'm saying that if we don't start a revolution now to let this new crop of children know that this world, you need to work with your hands. The world is getting to a place where just by merely speaking English and writing it will not be enough for you to survive. And so, we are building children who will become heavily dependent, more than we are. Folks, more than we are. It will get to a time if they need to breathe, they will go for aid. If they need to look left, they will have to go for aid because they are not equipped to do anything. And it's dangerous. It's not right. And like one texter just said that even the schools, all these Dadaba international schools have hundreds of laborers, one sweeping, one cleaning. Yes, your father's rich, your father's the ambassador. So come on, you come to school, everybody should have a little responsibility. Look, Akosia, you sweep this portion, and you dust this portion, and you wipe that portion, and collectively start building these things in the children. I think we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot if we are not already. So no matter how will we have education when the circuit supervisor comes to count the number of exercises a teacher does in a day instead of how the children can apply what they've been taught? Some parents are comparing schools for getting 10 ones than the quality of the education being imparted. In the meantime, if you haven't gotten 50 nuggets at 50, then your education is not up to scratch. 50 nuggets at 50. For Henry Gifty, Auntie recounts from birth to when she was 50 years old, and it's as raw and it's as bare. And as her husband, I am scared to read the book. She keeps saying, aren't you going to write something about it? Folks, the book is raw and it's rare. And if you want a copy, it's 054-3618-18182. 054-3618-18182. 50 nuggets at 50. Yes, there's part of my story in the book too. She's written about me, even though I don't know what she has written about me, but I'm in the book. There was an argument, right? That if I'm in the bathroom, I want the door closed. She thinks that because we are married, the door should be opened. Yes, we're married, but I want the door closed. Folks, you need to read the book. Iggy is up next, right after the news bulletin. Iggy will be here to overdrive you while you're thinking about our children and the next generation and the intoxicating paranoia of English and literature and English and numeracy. When a child doesn't even know that when I take off my dirty clothes, I need to walk to the laundry and put it in. Child doesn't know if I see an empty plate on the table, I need to pick it up and leave it in the sink. Let alone going further to wash it, dry it, and put it where it's supposed to be. Well, folks, every Monday this is what we do. If this is the first time you're tuning in, we've been doing this for many years. Every Monday we come up with a topic and we all jojo and share ideas and see how it is we can make our system better than what it is that we found. So next Monday, God willing, we'll be back to do this all over again. My name is Ansah Kwao, the fourth chief of the Little Republic of Akomu Edumasa. The Booby is here, stand by. But in the meantime, in between time, folks, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter.